just a couple bad weather fans representing New York, talking all things sports. Man, what could go wrong? We got Alex, who's a fan of the Knicks, and Mike of the Nets. The yin-yang of the tri-state, place your bets on the Yankees, Giants, Mets, or Jets. Yeah, you should listen if it's sparking your interest. If you made a vow to your team, don't break it. Bad weather fans is the relation.
That's right. This is Bad Weather Fans, episode number 246. Mike Biseglia, Alex Vanessowitz. We are presented by DraftKings. Knicks and Nets haven't played too many games over the last couple of weeks. Been kind of weird, but a lot of news. Nets finally trading Dennis Schroder. He's going to Golden State. Nets get back some second-round draft picks. And the tank is fully on. Well, the Knicks playing better basketball. Mikal Bridges playing better basketball. Knicks now in the 3 seed, but a good chunk behind the Celtics and the Cavaliers. Alex, good late afternoon, early evening. How the fuck are you?
I'm doing great. Knicks to the 3 seed, life as well. We're doing okay. Sorry about last week. I missed an episode. I had some things going on, but we're back, and we're back weekly. We're back with the instant reactions. So subscribe, follow, thumbs up, like, comment, 5 stars, the whole 9 yards, and we're here to stay if you keep doing that. So.
So the Nets make a trade. They deal they don't deal Dorian Finney-Smith. They might soon. 40 and 12. They trade Dennis Schroder, and first game the Nets play versus the Cavaliers. I mean, they get absolutely walloped. Worst loss of the season. Not competitive. Just horrible. You could see from that trade losing, I think, even more than his talent, because he's had a great season. I mean, there's no doubt about it. But I think just the Nets mentally were not there versus the Cavs with Schroder out. And when you don't have Dennis Schroder, you don't have Cam Thomas, which is a pretty good backcourt, but not great, but not bad. Decent,
win with them.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
You can see how you just, quite frankly, are terrible. And you can see the writing on the wall how the Nets are going to be terrible. And I don't think they'll be that bad where they're losing. And the Cavs are great, right? The Cavs are having a great season too. So remember that. But you can see Nets, the losses are going to start to pile up, and the tank is here. I mean, the Wizards have like -3 wins, so they're going to have more losses than the Nets. But you can see how the Nets are going to start to pile up some losses. I think it's pretty evident there.
Yeah, wow. The Wizards are literally 3-21. That's insane.
Horrible. Just horrible, which guarantees you nothing, but you know.
No, it doesn't. We know that as Knicks fans. We know it guarantees nothing. But yeah, when you lose Schroeder, he was the heart and soul of the team and the leader on the young team, and he was like kind of the heartbeat of them. And I love what Jordy Fernandez said about him, where he was like, "Yeah, well, he's gone now. You know, I wish him well, but he's gone. Like, I don't care. Like, you know, I love that from him, and you know." The Nets are embracing the tank now, and you got to get as bad as possible. You can't be the worst, but you got to get in the mix in the bottom 5.
And they'll be there. I mean, they're going to be there. They're going to continue to trade guys. I said this when we were on New York Got Game. I said, don't worry. They will start to lose. They will make trades, because people were like, they're 12 and 13 or whatever. Not 12 and 13, 9 and 10. Are they going to? No, they know they are fully committed to losing. That's what they did. And the losses will start to pile up. Now, I do think they have more trades in them. How many more? We'll find out. And for people complaining that, you know, the Nets didn't get any first-round draft capital back for Dennis Schroder.
That was my question.
No.
I was just typing that. I don't know if you saw my arms.
I mean, it's just 2-part. One, and this is why I stress this with the Mikal trade, like, to get what they got back for Mikal, regardless of how he does, it was an incredible haul. I mean, it really was. That's just the marketplace for players is insane. And I know there'll be guys that are like, well, the Knicks picks will always be really in the 20s, so it doesn't matter. It does matter. They got draft picks. They've got an extraordinary amount for him. That is not the norm. So Dennis Schroder getting the 2 second rounds back is more than normal. People just forget about that. Now, you could make an argument, well, if you lasted longer and you put a bidding war up and you got to the trade deadline, maybe. But the problem is then you're winning because he's there. So you have to cut ties because he was playing so well that he made an impact on the court. So get your couple second round draft picks, move along. And the bigger thing is he's not here anymore to help you win. He helps you lose because he's gone. And that's the reality of it, right? You know, and I think what's more interesting to me is how they're going to handle Cam Thomas when he comes back, because he's going to help.
Well, they're gonna let him take his time to come back, like a David Robinson kind of
Yes,
thing. Obviously, he's not David Robinson, but you know what I mean. Like with the
not that
Spurs
good.
when they got Tim Duncan, sit out, man. You're good. Just rest up. Take your time. Come back later. But yeah, maybe the Nets could have gotten more for Dennis Schroder. Even now, maybe they could have. But you know what? They took somebody that was willing to take him now, in the Warriors. And because of that Mikal Bridges trade, the Nets did not have to worry about what they're getting back for these guys. They just got to get rid of them and get bad. It's kind of like with the Knicks with they didn't have the picks in their pocket like the Nets do, but with J.R. Smith and Iman Shumpert the year that they were tanking for Karl Anthony Towns coincidentally. Melo was getting surgery, but he had to wait for the All-Star game, of course. So we had to like keep the team together a little bit, and then it was just like, you know what, we got to get rid of these guys. We got to get bad. Phil Jackson saw that they didn't have a draft pick the next year. They had to get this guy now, and he was a generational player, and let's do it. So that's what the Nets have to do. And with Cam Thomas, they'll probably bring him back after the All-Star game and if he's ready to go and let him play last month of the season when it doesn't really matter. You can't just not play him. You know what I mean? You
Well,
also want to develop him a little more too.
well, sorry to interrupt, but
Yeah,
I
it's
just
fine.
want to add the
I was
note of
done.
like he is a free agent, so
Oh.
that makes it interesting. Like, what are they going to do? What is he going to do? Are
Oh.
they going to sign him?
I
Are
did
they
not
going to
know
give him an
that.
extension?
Yeah.
So that it's an interesting dilemma with Cam.
Then you got to
It's
pay him
really
now. You got to pay him now.
Or if he's not part of the future, I mean, maybe they trade him.
Yeah. Then if you don't get first round picks for Cam Thomas, that's a problem.
You'd have to get first
Yeah.
round picks for Cam. No, well, Cam Thomas is 23,
Yeah.
not nearly in his prime of his career.
Showed he's a player. Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to get first round capital back. But at some point, too, if the Nets are going to get first round capital back, it has to be in future years now. I mean, they have 4 first round draft picks. Like, unless you're getting back Washington's pick, unless you're getting back one of these bad teams' picks,
Right.
there's only so many first round draft picks you can have. I would doubt the Nets use all 4 first round picks this year. I think they package stuff and move things around. I guarantee you on trade night they're moving.
Yeah.
They leave the first. I guarantee this happens. Nets trade their Bucks pick to a team and they move things around and they get future first. I'd be stunned if they used all
it's a cap
4 of their
thing
picks.
also. You can trade back the Knicks and the Bucks pick and get a couple seconds this year, maybe a first in the future, just so you can put some guys together on this team and get more players on the team that aren't as much money with the salary structure of the draft picks. You know what I mean? That would be a smart move by Sean Marks. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm sure DFS is next, and just keep going.
The Nets have a qualifying offer for next season.
Okay.
So they can do that with Cam. So he's owed $4.041 million this year, and then next year is the qualifying offer at just under $6 million.
Well, they're going to pick that up. So I mean, I guess he'll be back. He has no really choice, right? Unless
what is the extension?
Is he restricted, or is that I don't know. I forgot how that all works, but I believe he becomes a restricted free agent after that, and yeah. So they got time. They don't.
Cam Thomas is signed with the Brooklyn Nets, an average annual this. Let me just read from Yahoo Sports because I do not want to get bombarded with Mike. You don't know this. The Nets did not agree to a contract extension with Cam Thomas. This is Monday 6 p.m. deadline. This was earlier in the year, meaning he will become a restricted free agent after this season.
Okay.
So there you go. He's
restricted,
a restricted free agent.
They can match any offer that comes his way.
Right. Now, do you want? It's weird because do you want to commit $200 million when you suck? Or, I mean, or whatever.
What are you going to trade Nick Claxton too? You got to get rid of him then if you're going to do that.
Oh, they just signed him. I mean, they are so bad.
He fell off cliff, man. It was like comparing him as
he's been bad. He just has not. He's so inconsistent. He's had a couple of decent games, and the rest has just been horrible. I've been so disappointed in Noah Clowney. He has not been good. He looks
Obi
so
Toppin,
good
man.
last
I told
year.
you it was Obi Toppin.
He's not even close to as good as Obi Toppin right now. I will say though, he's 19. And by the way, Cooper Flag, 17 years old. When everybody's like, "Oh, he only put up 24 and 5," I'm like, he's 17.
He's a kid to these, nil guys in the college basketball. Yeah.
We'll talk Knicks in a second. Can I just tell you, I had a dream. I was watching the Nets lottery this year.
Yeah.
This is not a joke.
A nightmare or a dream?
It was a dream. And I was watching, and they got to the part where they revealed all the teams up to the top 3. And the Nets were one of the teams that were made the top 3. They went to commercial, and I woke up. So they made the top 3, but I don't know how far. I don't know how well they did there. But
Well, I've been there.
even that dream, Alex, felt very, very nerve wracking.
It's terrifying, man. With the Zion draft, man, the Knicks were the worst team in the NBA, and oh, thank God we got to the top three. Okay, thank God we're guaranteed one of
Right,
the
at least
top
that.
three, and then you come back from commercial and up. Patrick Ewing's disappointed on the dais.
Oh
That was
man.
very, very disappointing, and it was sad, but you know what? It worked out well. R.J.
Well,
Barrett and Manuel quickly that draft turned into OG Anunoby, and the Knicks are pretty good. So
no,
they're
Knicks
three
are a
seed
good
again.
basketball team.
Yeah,
They're playing
they're
well.
they're rolling. They've won what 11 of 15.
You know,
They had,
you
whatever.
know what it
I'm
is?
ready.
There's a reason. There's a disappointment in fans, and I think it's for two different reasons. One, they don't have the same grit that they had last year. They're an
No,
offensive team.
it's a
They
different team. Yeah,
outscore you. I
yeah,
think the losses that they've had have been really bad. I think they've had just some bad losses when they're there.
that's
And
fair.
then two, the expectations was this was the team. Like last year, Nick fans said, if we're healthy, we can beat the Celtics. Well, you're healthy this year, and I don't know if anybody would say you could beat the Celtics. And I think there's a feeling of like the Nick fans want to be 19-5, 20-4, 20-6, 19-7, and it's just not good enough because they're even though they are the 3 seed, which is pretty damn good. They were the 2 seed last year when it was all said and done, but they haven't separated themselves to be there. And I
Mhm.
think it's pissed off Nick fans, even if
Well,
they're
it's
trying to play
silly.
better basketball.
It's silly. They started off 4-5, and they're 16-10. So if you started off the season after the first 9 games, and you started with the 10th game, the Knicks' record is insane. So it's just there's ebbs and flows of an NBA season. You just jumped all. You have a brand new team going into the season, and you have a lot of the same guys, so it feels like the same team, but it's not.
No, it isn't.
And so, and then you lose Landry Shamet in the preseason, who's on his way back. He's in Westchester. And Mitchell Robinson is delayed, and Precious Chua is hurt. So it's just like there's so much at play here, and now they're starting to roll, and you just have to relax as a Knicks fan. I mean, I'm really glad. I'm not going to talk about the Trae Young stuff and the toughness and that BS. That's an old conversation. It's just stupid. But the fact that they lost that game to the Hawks might help them over the next month plus, because they got 4 days off because of that, and now they have 19 games in 34 days. So I'm thankful they didn't go to Vegas and they just played the Magic on Sunday, and that was it. So it's great. I was happy they're going to lose eventually. They're going to lose a game, lose that one. Let Trae Young shoot dice on the logo. He lost in Vegas anyway. It was stupid. So let's relax. Everybody wants to compare. You know what? Whatever. I'll talk about it. The '90s Knicks and Trae Young, right, with the shooting dice. If it was the '90s Knicks, they would have went after Trae Young.
Probably.
You know what happened in the '90s with the Knicks, Mike? They didn't win a championship.
They all got suspended.
Sometimes you have to be the bigger person and pick your battles. The Knicks are tough. Mikal Bridges mocks every bench and every
Doesn't make him
player every
tough.
time he
Doesn't
makes a
make him
shot.
tough.
Yeah, it does. I mean,
No,
you're
it doesn't.
mocking somebody, you're tough.
It
If
makes him
somebody
a
gets in your
troll.
face,
Doesn't make you tough.
okay,
I'm sorry.
but
I'm
if
not
they get in
gonna.
his face, he'll get back in his face.
But
You know
Mikal
what? Like,
Bridges has
there's guys
does not have thick skin. I will
Okay.
disagree with that.
Well, there's guys on the Knicks. If somebody gets hit, they'll get in your face in the game, right? In the course of a game, somebody gets fouled hard. Jalen Brunson got in Joel Embiid's face last year. There's players that are going to get in people's faces if it happens. Karl-Anthony Towns went to blows with Embiid and rolled to the ground with him a couple of years ago. These guys are going to fight if they need to, but you don't have to fight in a stupid scenario like Trae Young rolling the dice, a fake dice on the logo at the end of a game. What are they going to go up to him and get suspended? The plays that ruined the Knicks championship aspirations in the '90s was like, Camby punching Ferry, Harper and JoJo Townsell, Bonner's elbow. I mean, that wasn't a really big game, but he, knocked out. I mean, J.R. Reed's elbow, not Anthony Bonner. Starks headbutting Reggie Miller. Like these stupid things. And leaving the bench, obviously, in the night with the Heat. Like, those stupid things is what cost them a lot of games and a lot of silly, like, seeding and, like, it's just a suspension in the middle of the season. You know what? That suspension in the middle of the season could have cost you a couple wins. It could get you a better seeding. Maybe you could take out Chicago when you have the home court advantage. You know what I mean? There's certain things like that, or Miami, or whoever that you're playing, the Pacers. These kinds of things is why I'm so happy that Jalen Brunson is the captain of this team. He's about winning, and you say it all the time, Mike. He's about winning, and that's all that matters. He doesn't care about the Villanova friendships. He doesn't care about any of that. He's about winning a ring, and that's it.
I don't know. I have so much.
Why do I always say Vanilla when I'm going saying Villanova? I always jump
Start
into
with
Vanilla.
V's.
I don't understand.
I don't.
Yeah,
I don't either. Then that's I
got
can't
ice
answer
cream
you.
on the brain, I guess. Yeah.
I don't know if one of the terms a lot of people are using is copium, and you're using that with the Trey thing. First, I want to talk about your comments on Mikel because I'm not done with that. He is not tough because he
I was
mocks other
rolling.
people.
I had to
He,
get my
he is
my
not
rant
tough
out.
because he mocks other people. What makes you tough is when you're 1 for 7 and you don't put your head down and quit. That's what makes you tough. Not mocking everything when things go your way. That's easy to do. When things are going well, it's easy to do that. But when you're struggling, that's where you see when somebody is tough. As far as what you had said about the Trey Young thing, true to a point, but it's still, I think, for Knicks fans embarrassing when he did that. And there is a history where Trey Young has defeated the Knicks in bigger spots. Now I understand that the Knicks have a higher win-loss total versus
Higher,
Trey.
it's double the amount of wins.
But you're not
It's
including
higher.
you're not including the playoffs there, and I don't think that's
That's
fair.
also
But
4 years
that's
ago.
part of
Going to be 5 years ago, and in-season tournament is not a big game.
No,
Like,
I
that's the
don't disagree.
thing.
I'm not arguing that the
Yeah.
in-season tournament is, but if you're going to look at their total body of work, you can't then take that
Completely different roster also from that.
but you can't take the
as well.
playoff series out of it. Like that would
Right.
like Jordan
Right.
owned the Knicks. He had 2 different rosters
Right.
when he did it. He had the first dynasty and then the second dynasty. So
But Jordan beat them every year.
Right.
Like,
I'm not comparing him to Jordan.
Although I know
you
you're
could
not.
argue
I know
you could argue he's getting there. You could argue he's getting there. What I'm saying is
sure.
you can't take that out of it. You can't take that postseason out of it because that has more weight than any of the regular season games that they've played in. So unfortunately, you're right when you say look at the total body of work. They're 14-7 versus Trey Young in the regular season. Well, the problem is he went 4-1 in the playoffs and he tortured Knicks fans and he mocked Knicks fans.
He did.
And he did all of that stuff.
And
so those games then have a bigger feel. And you say it all the time. Everything's magnified when it's at Madison Square Garden. So when he's rolling dice and he's at the center court of MSG, that has a bigger feel than if Trey Young is playing the Pistons and he does it. Nobody will care. Nobody at all will care. But because it's the Knicks and because of their history, it becomes a story and it becomes interesting. Now, if I'm kind of with you where I'm like, I think ultimately the Knicks will get their last laugh on this guy because I do think the Knicks are a lot better if they were to play each other. I do think that. I do agree with that. Like if they met in the playoffs, I think the Knicks would get the last laugh, and I think they'll take their revenge if it happens. I said revenge word there. They'll take their revenge out on the Knicks, out on the Hawks on the court, and they'll beat them when it matters. I think that's what they will do, and I think that's how they do their talking, and then they'll have something planned and prepared. Josh Hart will throw Mike and Ike's and make some comment that's passive aggressive, and it'll go viral. That's what we'll like calling that now. They'll beat the Hawks. Josh Hart will have a Mike and Ike. He'll throw it on the side.
He'll say Reggie Miller sucks.
There'll be some question from Stephen Bondy, and he'll go, "Well, good question, Stephen. Yeah, I don't even know who that guy is. Last time I saw him, he had more hair. Like something like that. It'll go viral, and then the Knicks will lose to the Celtics in 5. Like that's what we have to get ready for."
Oh my God, there was a lot there. I couldn't even I had something I wanted to say, but you totally threw me off.
We're clipping that for social, by the way.
Yes, we'll do that. I just, man, I don't know. I just think, what do you think? If you were Nick, would you have gotten in Trae Young's face for that?
I didn't even understand what he was doing at first.
Josh Hart said that. I don't think I believe him.
I didn't know
he was standing right there. You know what I mean? So
because he's going to Vegas, was that it? And he rolled
he's shooting dice. Yeah.
I honestly at first was like, I don't get it. And maybe I'm not a big gambling Vegas
but you
guy.
know what dice in Vegas. I mean,
I guess it didn't. Well, maybe to what you're saying about how the midseason tournament or whatever this thing is called isn't that big of a deal.
NBA Cup, yeah.
It didn't even. I think it's fun. It's actually starting to dislike it more and more than I did last year.
We can get to that later. Yeah,
and we can talk about and NBA ratings. By the way,
yeah. We'll get to that. Yeah.
I'm watching maybe it's because I'm watching the Nets. The NBA sucks. Like I have to even agree. These games are awful. They
don't try until the playoffs, man. It's so obvious.
I've turned to the point because the Nets are so bad, and maybe because I'm seeing it now a lot.
Yeah.
Where I could understand where someone's like, it's 800 threes. It's awful. I've even got into that place, Alex. It's hard to
travels.
Watch. It's bad.
No plays.
It's not as good.
Yeah. No, I know.
I hate saying it because I defended it forever. Yeah, but I'm like, I know why the ratings are down. The product stinks.
It does.
It's that simple.
It does. And there's a lot of games and the players don't care. The first round doesn't matter. So season, because it's 7 games. So seeding doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? You just want to get to the top 6, and that's it. And then they don't care. It's all about rest days and injury days and things like that.
But even the
I don't know.
games themselves stink. The three, I got to be honest, I'm kind of over all the threes. It's too much.
I know. I know. I hear you. I hear you. And it's just everybody. I have nothing to say. You got me. I agree.
Yeah, you're lucky though because I mean the Knicks are good, so that changes it. But when
Right. It's
you're
fun.
watching a bad team do it, it's hard to watch.
Right.
It's hard.
Right.
It's hard to watch the Nets take that many threes and be that bad. It's. I mean, at least Ben Simmons isn't falling for it.
Well, he's not shooting threes,
That's
so
my
you should
point.
love him.
That's my point. He's
Yeah.
he's not the modern NBA player.
No, no. So the Knicks have 19 games in 34 days. Mike, can we do a quick win-loss thing with
For
them?
all of them.
Just quick.
All right, be
Rapid
quick
fire.
and just say if they're home or away.
Okay, hold on.
You won't do
Thursday.
it for the Nets.
No. Away at Minnesota.
Loss, even though I'm going to give them a lot of wins, so we'll go loss.
A day off away at New Orleans.
Win,
Home to Toronto.
win,
Odea home to on Christmas to the Spurs.
win,
3-1 so far. That's pretty good. Back to back. You got at Orlando, then at Washington.
win, win.
Then
Wizards,
you wrap
Wizards.
around and
It was
Monday
another
at
back
the
to back,
Wizards.
but it's the best team to have on a back to back.
Yeah, and then the Wizards again that Monday.
Nick's schedule is light, 6-1.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, there we go. Okay, then we're going into January. You got home to, if this loads, I will be good. This is terrible. Come on. Come on. Tell me who this is, please. Oh, home to the Jazz on New Year's Day.
Win,
Then you go on the road to Oklahoma City to see
loss,
Hartenstein. Okay. Then back to back in Chicago.
1-1 on those.
Okay, so another win. Then you have home to Orlando, home to Toronto, home to OKC that week.
2-1 combination.
Okay.
Possible 3-0.
Then
See
you
where,
have
see where Orlando is on the injuries too by then. Makes a big
Right.
part of that.
Then that Sunday, Monday, January 12th and 13th, you have home to the Bucks at 3 o'clock, then home to the Pistons at 7:30.
Lose to the Bucks, beat the Pistons. Knicks already beat the Bucks. I'm just looking at the law of averages.
Okay, so then you go to Philly and then you end it at home with the Timberwolves. It's a night. Oh no, you don't. Go ahead.
Loss at Philly, home, beat the T-Wolves at home.
Lost to Philly. Okay.
I think Philly's playing better basketball, and I think they'll have their full roster then. And yeah, I have the Knicks like it. I think I had them go probably what I have 13-6 or something.
I don't know. Two more. You have
Oh,
back to back is home to Atlanta and then at the terrible Brooklyn Nets. Back to back.
2-0 on those. They're gonna beat the Nets.
Okay, so there you go. So that is, let's see. So you have
14
1,
and
2,
5?
3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 and 5. So if the Knicks go 14 and 5, so 14 plus 16 is what?
30.
30. So they'll be 30 and 15 after this 19 games, Mike.
And they'd
do
be
you
the
think Knicks
3
fans
seed.
will be upset?
They'll be they'll be the 3 seed still. I mean, just the way things are going.
So they should be at least 16 and 5 in these games.
If they do that, yeah. They have an easy schedule.
Yeah.
There's some winnable, but they're also a better
It's
team than all
hard,
these.
but it's hard because it's 19 games in 34
There'll probably
days.
be more
That's a gauntlet.
There'll be
you know?
losses in there that you don't suspect. Like they
Right.
lost in Washington. I mean,
One of the two back to back. Yeah.
I
not back to
worry.
back, but two in Washington.
Those net games are going to be bad because it's going to be all Knicks fans. It's going to be rough.
Yeah,
I'm
and you're
not
going to be
looking
rooting
forward
for
to that.
Washington. And you'll be rooting for the Knicks in those two games. So Washington.
No, definitely not. What does it matter? The
Yeah.
Nets will be 8 games behind Washington. It won't matter.
Yeah, they're going to be the worst. I don't understand why they're that bad. I mean, Kuzma's okay. I mean, why can't these guys win some games? I just don't understand.
They just don't play hard. I don't
Yeah,
watch
they don't
Washington
care.
basketball.
Yeah.
You can already see Cooper Flag there in Washington.
Ugh,
Planting
that'd
the
be a
flag.
terrible spot, man. Come on.
Him and Brooklyn would do well
Yeah, that would be.
because
Good.
he would,
That's the spot. Yeah.
because it would be like the first guy like that drafted in New York. There'd be a lot of attention on him.
So
I'm
you
not
got
saying-
the
there would be
Pelicans,
a lot of
Jazz,
attention.
Blazers,
All right,
Nets, Sixers, Hornets, Raptors. Those are the bottom teams. So
I thought we were just going to name the whole Knicks schedule. I was like, we can't do
no,
that.
no, no, no. I'm done with that. So yeah, no. So the Knicks have a tough schedule. I know, like a tough, not schedule games wise, but a tough,
Sure.
navigation around the country, and days without a lot of time home, and it's every other day basically, and then back to
Yeah.
backs. So like this is a big stretch of the
I,
season
yeah.
that they can be 30-15 after this, and that'd be great. And then we're rocking right into almost
It's all about
All-Star break.
it's all about the playoffs, man.
That's it. That's
About
it.
playing
But you
well,
got to
going
get
into the
there.
playoffs, staying healthy. The Knicks have been relatively healthy.
Hmm They
That's the
have.
one thing. If the Knicks
Well,
lose
I mean,
somebody,
without Robinson and Precious, I mean, and Shamit and those three guys, I
relatively
mean,
healthy
yeah,
for that.
they're the
Like they
top
haven't had
guys.
the
The
OG
top guys.
injury.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
haven't
yeah,
had the OG. Like so far, so good.
yeah. None of those other players. We don't want to mention
Yeah.
those guys with injuries. No, that's good.
I
So,
just
do you think that there be any juice to that Knicks Nets game at the end of that 19 games in 34 days for the
I mean,
Knicks?
the Nets are just going to be so irrelevant
Yeah.
that I don't know what the
What
juice would
kind of
even
juice?
be.
Yeah.
It would be very manufactured, like Mikal Bridges' return, but whatever.
But who cares?
But who
Is Cam
cares?
Thomas playing? That's another thing. Is it,
Yeah.
there's all that. Who do
I'd
they
like
get
to
back
just
in these trades?
beat the Knicks because it's been so long.
hmm
Well,
Just
see, that
end the
last game of the
streaks.
regular
Yeah.
season would be the one
No, I
because it's
get it.
going to be nobody's possibly playing. I mean, it'd be the Nets roster, but nobody's for the Knicks
Right.
playing.
Well, hopefully the Knicks are all clinched and they have whatever seed they're in clinched and they're
They got
done
the
and they can take the
7.
day
They're
off.
there. Yeah.
But they could play because if you're not in the in season the play in tournament, you get a couple days off anyway. So it's just like you might as well
There's
play
no,
a couple
if you're
minutes.
locked in at the 3 seed, it would be a terrible decision to play anybody against the Nets on the last game of the season. What would be
That's
the
true.
benefit?
That's true. I
What's
don't
the
know.
benefit?
Just stay in shape. I don't know.
I
Just
think
go
Tibbs
work
will
out.
have
Run
them
the
in shape.
treadmill. Yeah.
Something tells me that their minutes, it's okay. I think
Take
they'll
a
be
week.
all right.
Take a week off and come back. I just don't want it to be rusty, man. I just don't want a rusty
One
Knicks
game.
in the
Stop,
first
first
game
of all,
of this playoffs.
stop. We're talking about this is a top. You want go on a Knicks podcast if you want to do this topic. I'm not doing this shit. Well, the Knicks going to be rusty if they stop it. I'm not doing that. I did find it funny when I got trolled about Mikal Bridges having a good game, and it was I won't mention who it is, but Mikal scored 17, and he quote tweeted like, "Thank you for Mikal," laughing. I'm like,
Scored 17 points.
17 points. What? Like
I'm looking at that wins and losses and the fact that this is toughness. You want to talk about Mikal being tough? This is toughness.
No.
Having a tough start to the season, getting booed off the court, not booed, but like getting ridiculed online where he sees it, and getting pressure from Nets fans laughing at him to bounce back and play really well over the last 2-3 weeks. That's toughness. That is. So there you go. I win.
Then overtime. No, I just that made me laugh. I was like, I didn't even comment because I didn't even know what to say. Somebody Net fans wrote in there like, "What is happening here? Like, what are you saying?"
Right.
Real quick on your Jalen Brunson post where you had Jalen Suggs guarding him, and I told you, and I said this when we were in the studios in New York. I said Orlando is physical. Now they're missing two of their best
really quick
players.
for the people who didn't see it, Jalen Suggs guarded Jalen Brunson in the Knicks Magic game on Sunday very, very closely. Hit him like 100 times, and then there was a foul at the end. And Rick Bucher quote tweeted IQ for 3 on Twitter, his ad. He posts all the videos. His great account. That this is just you're ridiculing toughness or you're penalizing toughness. Meanwhile, he hit him like a bunch of times. So there you go. And somebody else, I forgot who it was, Kevin O'Connor, I think. Whoever it is,
O'Connor,
like agreed, whatever. So
I think he got fouled, but I do think that there is
fouled like 100 times.
I think I had the same problem when Kyrie was here. That anytime he was touched, I got defensive. Like, oh, Kyrie doesn't get the calls, and I think that you're falling. Speaking for you, I'm going to do it. I think there's when he was your guy,
he was hooked like twice before he got hooked the third time.
So I see it somewhere in the middle.
He got dry humped at the half court line, and you know what I mean. He grabbed his shorts and pulled. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man.
There is a little bit of like, well, it's Jalen. We have to be nice, and if anybody gets physical with him, there's a little bit of that starting, which I because I saw it a lot with Kyrie in the Nets because he didn't get a lot of calls and be like, what's happening here? Although Jalen Brunson he's so crafty at getting fouls with his using his body, especially in the paint. It's like,
that makes him good.
Similar to what former net James Harden would do that people complained about, but he is very strategic.
He's not like
and
Harden. He's not
stuff.
like Harden. He's not like Harden. You're going too far. He's not like Harden. He draws contact and he sells it a little bit. Trust me, I know. But it's like every NBA player. You have to sell it in this era. And it's just you don't hate the player, hate the game. You know what I mean? That's part of what the NBA, people hate about the NBA is the flopping. You know what I mean? But
So
if
you
they're
think he
not going to
flops?
penalize him, I think sometimes he does. Sure, so does every player. You have to sell it a little bit. Look at LeBron, dude. You know what I mean? He made it, and or SGA, and all these guys do it. You have to in order to get the call. These refs that like want to swallow their whistles or just they get in these moods and get favoritism. You have to make sure you get these calls. Otherwise you're not doing your team a service.
He said it, not me. Bad weather fans. Alex, and I quote: Jalen Brunson flops. Take that.
Everybody does. Everybody does. But on
that
Suggs play, that was not on the Suggs play that we're talking about. That was not flopping. That was him trying to get through the contact, and he was playing him tough. And he was scratching. It's like playing against a guy who never cuts his nails. You know what I mean? You ever play pickup with a guy who doesn't cut his nails, and he's like always scratching you and shit. You're like, bro, can you cut your fucking nails?
How's basketball?
Like that's how it is. It's been fun. I've been playing pickup at local basketball, JCC nearby in my neighborhood, and it's a bunch of out of shape 40-year-old Jewish guys playing ball. It's great. But I also hurt my shoulder. I slightly tore a ligament in my shoulder, so I have to go to physical therapy. I only played about 3 or 4 times, and I'm already on the IL. But I'll be back mid-January.
Do you go to cheer your team like Mikel in the fourth quarter?
No. We're all everybody's kind of like can't get enough for a run right now because it's like holiday time. Everybody's with the family.
Joke went right over your head.
What? I'm gonna watch them?
No, I said, do you go watch and support them like Mikel does for his teammates in the fourth quarter?
No, because Mikel plays.
He did miss a few games. He didn't miss them. He got benched a few times
in the beginning of the season, and then he was so tough.
He
came back. He's so tough.
He
tough. Fought back, and he got into.
All right, this has been Bad Weather Fans, episode 2.
Can the Jets cut Aaron Rodgers, please? Can the Jets cut Aaron? Rodgers? Can they cut Aaron Rodgers and get this guy out of town? Thank you. Okay, that's all I had to say.
Bad Weather Fans, episode 246. Subscribe, find us on YouTube, watch the video there. We'll go live soon. All right, we'll do a live. We'll do it live. We're definitely doing the lottery live.
The lottery live. Yeah, that's a good idea.
We'll do the lottery live. Although we just have to make sure we sync up the TVs because that you can't fuck up.
Maybe we'll hang out. We'll try to make plans. It's far enough.
I can't be in person with you.
No,
let's
get offense. The 5th pick.
Yeah, not happening. Nope.
Isn't it funny on my shirt? You see my shirt if you're watching on YouTube? Doesn't it look like Jalen Brunson is talking into the microphone on my shirt? He's
if you
into the microphone.
you could have him
like this.
Move your mouth. Yeah.
Better. Hi.
Can you move your chest? Can you move your pec?
No, I can't move my pecs. I'm not like Shannon Sharp or somebody.
Just asking, checking. All right, Bad Weather Fans.
I tore a ligament in my shoulder playing pickup basketball.
We don't want you tearing your boobie next.
Thanks.
All right, Bad Weather Fans, episode 246. Good night, and we'll see you later. Take care, Alex.
See ya.